Hello and welcome to NAFDAC and your wealth. My name is Tosin Omolaja, and here's where we bring you up to date with NAFDAC's activities with regards to its mandate of safeguarding the health of the nation. Thanks for joining us for another insightful edition of the program. The responsibility of NAFDAC to safeguard the health of the nation is one enormous task, but which can be made easy if the workforce is adequately empowered and equipped with practical knowledge and expertise that will keep them abreast of existing and emerging realities. As a technocrat, the Director General of the agency, Professor Mrs. Mojisola Adeyeye, knows that consistent training and retraining of the agency's workforce is the only strategic method required in this direction.
As a professor, that was part and parcel of my life. To train students to a level that will make that students even better than you, the teacher. Just like I said, when I train my students, I train them to be able to fit into the market where they're going. And those days it was pharmaceutical industry. It brings their level of confidence. It gives them opportunity to be able to discuss among their peers that yes, this is what is happening with this regulatory activity, and this may be the consequence. So it's extremely important. However, for the individual staff, it is extremely important to see yourself in 5 years' time better than what you are today. I believe in maximizing the capacity of the mind. And if a staff is trained, it means that that staff is not just going through the motion. That staff also has self-fulfillment. In terms of leadership, there are few people that were born leaders. Most of us learned how to be leaders, or experience also can teach us on how to be leaders. But it is extremely important in any establishment to learn a little here, a little there about leadership.
Professor Adeyeye does not only strive to improve the capacity of our workforce through training. Her deep knowledge about leadership and her encouraging style of administering the agency is in itself a model through which the staff of the agency acquire informal training.
Still talking of leadership, for somebody to be a leader, you have to know how to bring people to follow you. And many times it takes emotional intelligence. All of us are differently made, even the same children of the same mother. We are differently made in terms of our emotional display and intellectual capacity and whatnot. And as a leader, you have to be able to know that the people working with you have different tendencies, and for people working with you to know you have different tendencies. That way, you will actually figure out what are the strengths of each of the small group that you have or big group, and you capitalize on the strength and sharpen the weak points. You cannot discard a staff because that staff is weak in this area. No. Look for what that staff can do very well and encourage the staff to do it. But it also is leadership is by example. You cannot be slothering around, not coming to work on time, and think that your followers will come to work on time. So leadership is also by example. So it is extremely important, and that is part of what our staff have been going through, especially as we see one set succeeding the other, to be sure that we don't have gaps when a set of staff retire, things like that, you know.
It is a good thing to acknowledge the significance of training and make decisive efforts to make it happen. But the quality of resource persons will go a long way in determining the quality of training and the impact it will eventually have.
In terms of getting the resource people for our training, again, it is extremely important to know that those who will be training our staff have been trained well themselves. As part of strengthening the regulatory framework, the auditing that we are going through now, the global benchmarking, lay emphasis on training. So even if I don't want to, which is not the case, that's my life as a professor, it is expected of a strong regulatory system to have annual training plan and to demonstrate it when the auditors come, that this is the annual training plan for NAFDAC, that this particular directorate has 10, 15 types of trainings that they have planned for the year, and at this time of the year, they have done 50%. They have done 60%. And it's not just on a paper, they want us to have a database for it. So everything is kind of working together, my own experience as a teacher, and also what is expected of us as a regulatory agency. So the resource people have to be well qualified.
To NAFDAC, nothing should stand in the way of qualitative training to build the capacity of its workforce.
The pandemic started, at least hit us in Nigeria, March of 2020. And there were things that we never knew we could do as an agency that we grew up quickly to do. That is what is called the business continuity training, which we went through under quality management system. Meaning, you're supposed to do this in 3 months, and now you have to do it in 1 month. Or you're supposed to do it to 1,000 people, now you have 100 people. What do? That doesn't mean you kill yourself, but it's that you reprogram and prioritize. But in terms of training, what we started doing in March 2018 or April 2018 became more understandable to staff, because April 2018 we started using Zoom, because you get more with virtual training plus physical training instead of just physical training alone. You reduce the chance of accidents because people travel and they have accidents. So you reduce risk using virtual training. However, when the pandemic started, we still have to continue the training. In fact, we had to learn so much about COVID-19 disease. We had to learn so much about COVID-19 vaccines that were going to come. So we started using our Zoom. In 2019, I think we had about a little over 1,000 trainings. In 2020, we had over 4,000 trainings because of the ease of becoming part of a training. In fact, I was at Edo about 2-3 months ago, and our state coordinator said that the Zoom technology has transformed the state, the staff, because now they could participate in the drug product approval meetings, in all the other meetings. So we have maximized our Zoom technology to increase the capacity of our staff. So because this training is extremely important for our staff, and as good as virtual training is, the physical aspect of it is also very good. emotionally and socially, because you have seen, you interact with each other, you talk with each other compared to just virtual. So we have maximized our technology to achieve what we are achieving right now, because we just put a lot of premium on training.
Considering all the efforts and strategies the agency gears towards ensuring that training of its staff remains top on its agenda, the huge resources that will be going into this is imaginable.
The resources into it, I mentioned it, we have put that in our budget, in our annual budget, and it is an approved budget that the National Assembly passed. So it is part and the source of it, of course, is our user fees. Our user fees are fees that are paid by our clients to get their products approved. Because again, you want a staff that is capacitated to be part and parcel of the registration of a product. So any staff going through a training must have pre-test and post-test, because monitoring and evaluation demands that you show that the staff actually gained from a particular training that he or she went through. So it is a holistic approach to ensure that our staff are capacitated, and it's not just that, to ensure that the agency is strengthened on the long run.
We'll take a short break now. Don't go away.
As part of NAFDAC concerted effort to prevent incessant food poisoning and to safeguard the health of the nation, the agency wishes to advise the general public to take the following precautionary measures in food handling. Chemicals are not food, so do not taste with your tongue. It is dangerous to health and it can kill. It is dangerous to cook your meat with paracetamol or any drug. It can damage your liver, kidneys, or other organs. Do not ripen your fruits with calcium carbide. It can cause cancer or damage the kidneys or liver. It is dangerous to use sniper to keep insects and other flies away from any food products. Cooking does not remove sniper. Do not consume any mixture or herbal preparation that do not have NAFDAC number. It could be deadly. Too much monosodium glutamate food seasoning that comes as cube or in sachet can be dangerous to your health. Do not add any chemical to food or drink to make it sour or improve taste. Safe food. Everyone's business. NAFDAC. Safeguarding the health of the nation.
Welcome back. If you are just joining in, you're watching NAFDAC and your health. Workers in an agency like NAFDAC do not work in perpetuity. It is in this realization, and because of its full commitment to the training of its workforce, that NAFDAC found it expedient to include leadership succession and strategic management training in its series of capacity building trainings. The first phase, organized for the deputy directors of NAFDAC, took place in Lagos, and recently the second phase took place in Abuja.
Yeah, very, very noble idea. There was a time we were reviewing the staff nominal role with the DG, and when he now saw the number of directors that will resign in another 2 or 3 years, he was alarmed that, oh, we are having this number, that we must start training the next group of people that will take up that leadership, which are deputy directors. So she gave the tall order that we should organize this training. So we thought of it that the best person that can handle this training for us is Center for Management Development, because that center was even established by government to be able to teach people in leadership position, both in the private and public sector. So we give kudos to the DG for coming out with that idea, and we expect the staff to also reciprocate the effort of the DG by making sure that what they have learned there imparts positively on the job and on the staff, so that at the end of the day, the agency will be better off.
Participants at the Abuja training venue shared their thoughts on the importance and impact of the training to them.
It's been a good 3 days of learning things new, not things entirely very new, but in a new dimension. Of course, we know the very idea of subsection is that there's continuity in any system, because when there is no continuity, then there is death. And the management has deemed it very important and very necessary, particularly considering the fact that we have quite a number of our directors that are going to be exiting maybe from next year. And it is very important that we begin to look at people who will be taken after them once they leave to fit in very nicely, so that, as I mentioned earlier, everything can continue in the way that it has always been. Now, we've always known about the mandate of the agency. We've always known about setting goals and objectives, but this training has emphasized on how to harmonize, how to bring those things together as workers to make sure that those goals and objectives translate into some specifics, some specific performance targets. In other words, it's not just enough to set goals and objectives, but it's also equally important to make sure that we work as a team towards achieving those goals and those objectives. And that is exactly what this training has tried to emphasize. And of course, we know that there are quite a number of people that should also be here that are probably not here to also benefit from this training. So what we intend to do is to make sure that we cascade down once we get back to base, each and every one of us, to make sure that we go to our various directorates and the divisions and units to cascade it down to those who also should benefit from it, so that the long and short of it is making NAFDAC a better entity, making it well positioned to continue to fulfill that mandate.
It is very interesting in that it has helped us, the deputy directors and other senior management staff of the agency, to interact and to know more about ourselves. Some of us, we don't know the strength, the weaknesses, and the ability of some people amongst us. But in this training, we've been able to interact. We've done group work. We've done a lot of things that will bring us together in order to give a report or to be able to ascertain what we do in our various directorates. So it's a very interesting workshop. And my advice to the other staff of the agency is that when these orgas, the orgas that have been trained here, go back to their directorate or offices, they should listen very attentively to what they have to say, because they've been loaded from here. And when we go home, we are going to download all the things that we have learned here.
And the whole idea is that we don't want any vacuum anywhere. Should people resign, should people retire, the work has to go on. And that's the essence behind this training. And it's very thoughtful of management to have put this together for the deputy director, so that people learn, people have ideas of what to do when they step into that leadership position. Well, I wouldn't say that there are things I didn't know at all. I'd rather say that I've built on what I knew before. It's been very insightful, and the series of workshops and group assignments that we've done, these have helped to bring out a lot more information that one will leverage on to continue on the path to progress.
Some of us are here as a form of retraining. Others are here as training on the first leadership principles. And we have gone so far that if this becomes a culture in the agency, it will lead to succession programs where there will be no gaps, and this will lead to continuity in success of the agency. Most of this leadership knowledge is coming at a time when we are being empowered, whatever exists that needs to comply or retooled, we'll go back and retool them, even up to our vision or objectives and values in the agency. With more knowledge, we'll be able to come up and refine it to meet current expectation.
For me, a major takeaway is the importance of emotional intelligence for management, because it brings out issues like self-awareness, self-reflection, social awareness, and how they impact on management. There's other components that we have learned about: organizational culture, leadership, structure, design, which are all built to improve our skills at leading and managing teams on the job. I think this training is really timely, and I would advise that it should be made available to officers as they come into the management cadres well ahead of time for them, before they begin to actually manage teams, so that they are well equipped to do what needs to be done and to deliver on the vision, mission, goals and objectives of the agency.
From the look of things, the facilitators from the CMD, they had actually delivered, and all the participants, both in Lagos and Abuja, we have a lot, or we have been adequately equipped, and we hope to go back and cascade it down. And I believe it's an ongoing process in wherein all the management staffs, from chief, assistant directors, deputy directors, that will be taking up the leadership, the directorate mantle will have to go through.
That's our package for today. Please join us again, same time, same station, next week for a fresh edition. In the meantime, if you have comments, complaints, or you want to report activities of fake drugs or adulterated food product peddlers in your area, our doors are always open. You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email, reforms@nafdac.gov.ng, or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded. COVID-19 is real. Please ensure you and your family follow safety measures as outlined by the NCDC. Stay away from crowded places as much as possible, and if you must be out there, please wear a face mask. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water, and ensure you use only NAFDAC-approved alcohol-based hand sanitizers. Taking the NAFDAC-approved COVID-19 vaccine is safe. It's our best bet of stamping out the deadly coronavirus. And don't forget to download the MedSafety app from iOS or Play Store to report any adverse reaction from the vaccine or any other medicine at all. See you next week. Stay safe.